Israel's Navy has intercepted a boat leading a 4-vessel flotilla attempting to breach the sea blockade of the Palestinian Territory of Gaza. The Marianne was escorted to the Israeli port of Ashdod. It was carrying 50 journalists and politicians, including an Arab-Israeli member of parliament and a former Tunisian president. It was also said to be carrying humanitarian aid to Gaza, including medical equipment and solar panels. No violence was reported during the incident.
There was no humanitarian aid on board this vessel. It was rather a provocation, part of the attempt to delegitimize Israel. The security of the Israeli people is our responsibility, and we are acting logically by not allowing the smuggling of weapons into the Gaza Strip.
What's happened with this latest act of Israeli aggression is just another new crime, added to the list of Israeli crimes against the Palestinians and those who show solidarity with Palestinians. It was a violation of international law.
The flotilla was the latest protest voyage against Israel's blockade of Gaza, which has been in place since Hamas took control 9 years ago. In 2010, 10 Turkish activists were killed in a gunfight on a ship, which was boarded by the Israeli Navy as it tried to break the blockade. Earlier on, we spoke to Keinon, the diplomatic correspondent of the Jerusalem Post.
They see it as provocative because there's really no reason for the ship to bring anything in. Israel allows into the Gaza every day about 700 trucks full of goods, materials, and humanitarian aid. There's nothing that the ship can bring in that the Gazans can't get through the established channel. So if this thing is coming, it's coming for a different reason. And the reason is a political reason. They want to make this an issue, and this is a way to do it. It's seen pretty much as a gimmick. Practically speaking, there's no real reason for it. Gaza is not a pleasant place to live, a pleasant place to be, but there's not a humanitarian crisis in the sense that people aren't starving and they don't have medicine, right? They have all that stuff. Again, it's not a pleasant place, but it's not a humanitarian disaster. And this particular ship wasn't really bringing any humanitarian aid to begin with. This type of blockade is legal. Israel's not the only country to have done something like this. It goes back to about 2007, I think, when Hamas took over Gaza. Once that happened, Israel had to make sure that arms weren't going to go into Gaza to be used to fire rockets onto the south of Israel. I think there's a certain degree of fatigue with the conflict here, and there's so much else going on elsewhere. There's so much suffering going on in the region, which is vying for people's attention. You've got tens of thousands of people being butchered in Syria. What's happening in Gaza is unfortunate, but it pales in comparison to other things that are going around in the region. So I think for that reason, they're unable to get the type of media attention that they would like to.